So in today's YouTube video, we're going to be going over something that's been 3 months in the making. This is the Dream Factory of the office. You may have seen a little bit in the last video that we did, but today I'm going to be going through the price of the office, how much the individual items cost, where I got them from, and the end look of what we've achieved with the office slash podcast space. You may remember from a previous video, we walked around what the office area looked like when we first moved into the house and what it now is today. So this is where we're up to at the moment. These new pillars, wooden blocks, are getting fitted this week. They're going to go on that wall, and then we're just fitting the lighting in now. So these track and rails are going on the ceiling like an L shape, which is what we've got that line up there for. And then they're getting fitted with these on. So 2 will be facing towards the window where the other desk's going to go, and 2 are going to be facing towards like the podcast area there. And then there was lights. So these are really bright, obviously, as you can see. But because we're shooting the podcast here, the lighting's actually brilliant for doing it. We may change them slightly and we can manoeuvre them around a little bit, which is good. And the 2 lights shine down this way because the desk is going to be going along here. And then he's putting a dimmer in just so we can switch them up and down so it's not like blinding light all the time. But he's going to come back and do that next week. But super happy about how everything's coming together so far. Still only like, what, 40% there, but it's coming together. Today we're going to start spraying the radiator all matte black. I was potentially looking at starting to take it off and put a new one on, but it's going to be going underneath the new timber slash oak deck. I've been told to mask off all the area as well, but me being me, I can hold some cardboard, spray and see what happens. Today is the day. Today is the day that the boards are going up. The joiner has arrived, which means these boards are going to be being put up on the wall here today. So all this is going to be getting sorted today. So hopefully by the end of the day, you'll be able to see these acoustic boards across that wall, which will look sick for the podcast. And then also the shelving is going to be built in here so we can organise all this kit. So fast forward a couple of weeks post-Christmas, the boards are now up. We've got a little bit of touch up to do with the paintwork, but I think they look pretty good. So we have the podcast desk going here, which has now been delivered. However, you'll also see next to Cal, we've got another desk, which was the wrong one. I ordered a Weng colour thing that was black, but it wasn't, so we've got the wrong one. A company called Haydo, which I think stands for Height Adjustable Desks. Online, possibly. Yeah. I'll leave a link below because absolutely fantastic guys. They're actually swapping the desk over for me for a matte black desk because we've got black features in the office. And that is exactly what me and Cal are going to do a terrible job of now. So the framework is nearly built. Basically Cal did half it by just saying fuck you to the manual and just doing it proper bloke way. Ready? It's like a proper Lion King moment this where Simba rises.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's great, that's it. Brilliant, isn't it?
It's a good size though.
Brilliant. Great for meetings.
Yeah.
Great for the podcast setup. I'd be happy standing up doing a podcast every now and again as well, mate. So we've got the chairs, the 3 chairs delivered to the office, which look sensual. We're just going to build them. This may take some time.
Well, this is confusing.
Because we've got any given it? Oh no. Oh well, we've got the stiffest chairs in the world. It'd be great for our posture though. But now
They've got arches in your lower back.
we have 3 office chairs ready to roll.
The current state of affairs. This is the gorgeous, unbelievable oak desk, and it's the floating desk for the office upstairs. It's just getting fitted for size.
The angle of the dangle. Go on.
Actually is upstairs. They got it upstairs and they didn't touch a single wall. That piece of oak is so big.
So I'm just putting the last coat of paint on the shelving, on the shelves that our joiner made for organising the kit, and then Lucy's going to come in like an absolute assassin and label all the shelves. You can't label the top one, you can label the other ones.
Just put it there.
No, don't. And then we're going to label all the kit because we like to keep them nice and organised. So I'm going to finish off painting these shells and then Lucy's going to label them all, just that when we're doing podcasting or when we are taking kit out to do filming days, all there and ready to roll. So that is the desk label. As you can see, we've got the podcast run and gun kit. So that is all the podcast kit on a daily ready to roll. We've then got the daily camera kit, which we take to the gym. And then we've got just any other camera gear there. We've got a miscellaneous box there and then just office supplies. So just label that with one of these little, what would you call these? Labelers. Which is like £10 on Amazon. Easy purchase. And that is the office kit cupboard done. And also bought some of these new large doorknobs because the ones I bought were absolutely tiny to polish it off. And this now leaves us here. So this is the finished article. The office is done. The goal of me doing this room, and I was really excited when we moved into the house to do this room, was to create a space that was functional for us to work in every day and get the different elements that I'll go through now. To create a space that was inspiring, enjoyable to work in, and somewhere we, all three of us, part of the Micro School team, creating content, working on the coaching app, would enjoy being in on a day-to-day basis. And I think we've achieved that pretty well. On also a decent budget that I'm going to go through now, because there's certain things that we spent money on, there's certain things that we've sort of created ourselves and I've done myself to make things as cost efficient as possible. And this is why I wanted to go for this video, in case you are inspired to do home office with a lot of people now working at home due to the whole COVID scenario, but also just elements that you can take for inspiration for in your own home as well. So I'm going to break the room up into the main sections. One of the sections which you can't see at the moment, which I'm going to show you, is obviously the oak desk that we had fitted. This was one of the more expensive pieces in the room. I think the oak desk actually came to £770. Again, I'll pop all the prices on of each individual items as we go through, and I'll try and link as many as possible in the description so you can find them. This was from the oak guys. I didn't pay a lot to get this fitted, as you've probably seen from us struggling to get the 3 metre, or that ended up being a 2.6 metre board up into the office. I paid a friend to do this who I think that she wanted to charge me 50 quid, but I gave him a little bit more. And this is one of the main parts of the room and sets up for the good atmosphere on it. All we usually have on a day-to-day basis, some of Lucy stuff on her end, laptop, iPad, obviously YouTube subscriber. I've got 100k subs. Yeah, we all need to know that on a day-to-day basis. And then I've also got my IMX on the other end. The only thing that we don't have is the little drilled in holes for us to put wires through at the moment, which again the joiner is going to come back and do, so I can pop the beautiful wires up and it doesn't hang over the side of the desk like it does at the moment. But I'm really happy with this piece. The next bit, as you can probably see kind of behind me, is the podcast area. So this, for most people, I'm guessing won't really be a necessity, but the desk itself that the podcast sits on, as you saw me and Cal building a couple of weeks ago in the video, this is from Haydo Desks. Again, this wasn't a cheap piece. I think the desk was like 500, maybe 550 quid with a couple of shelves and stuff on it. And again, this is a really important part of the room. It's a stand-up desk so you can maneuver up and down via the electric tab, and it's a solid desk that Cal can work on a week-to-week basis, where you can stand up, sit down. We have our meetings across there on a Monday morning, and we do a lot of Skype and Zoom meetings from there collectively as a team. Obviously on there we've got our new podcast setup. What I'll actually do right now is I'll include a real small segment of the podcast that we just recorded for season 4, because season 4 is back from next week. So when you're viewing this, the new episode will be up tomorrow. I'll link the YouTube podcast channel in the description below as well. If you want to head over to there, subscribe to the Not So Fickle podcast, you can do, but enjoy the mini clip.
But we've got, you know, by then making old people increasingly protected, by making sure we always give them a seat on the train, by making sure they never do anything, we accelerate that sarcopenia and we create a problem. And I've always got this dilemma that, you know, I will always give my chair up to an older person on the train, but in my mind, this would get me deplatformed. You know, I'm saying you should be standing and I should be sitting.
I'm going to say it next time on the bus with it. Patrick told me, you fucking should stand up.
You know, and of course.
So with this, with the podcast kit, I think we probably spent around £1,500 to £1,600 up just upgrading the sound kit. So the boom arms, the mics, the new switchboards, the wires, some of the camera kit, some of the audio kit. It all kind of tied in for us to upgrade the podcast for this season. But again, I'll leave some of the links to that below. But again, not that many people maybe bother got the podcast kit. Some of you may be bothered about it, so I'll leave some of the audio kit there below, even if you haven't got a podcast and maybe wanting to do one in the future. Also, obviously, in that area is the podcast sign. This was supplied by Neon. I think they're only on Etsy, but I think the signs are quite cool if you want to add one to the office, just to add some different ambient lighting, or there's an area that you want to light up with some slogan or logo or particular wording that you like. I think these are really, really cool and just create some character to the office as well. And that is sitting on probably one of the staple pieces of the room, which is the wooden boards. I didn't get the joiner fitting these. Probably took about half a day, but you can fit them yourself. I'll leave a link to the website I bought them from. I think these were like 150 to 180 pound per panel. I've got 3 panels on there. So it just sits a nice centerpiece in the room. Again, there's a video to install them yourself. It's actually not that difficult. But I think they look really, really cool. And again, just these are acoustic soundbars as well. You don't have to use them for that way. We're also using them for the podcast, but I just like them because they look cool as well. And I suppose to my right hand side, we've got the filming wall. Not too much to say about that, it's just pretty much a white wall. So all the other walls are obviously painted grey in the office, and we've left a wall white. This is where we do a lot of the coaching videos on the My Coach School, and we'll also do some of the talking videos for some of the marketing material that we do. So we'll have a nice white wall there with nothing else on at all apart from our beautiful faces, or Lucy's beautiful face anyway. Lighting, as you saw in the video, my cousin came around and fitted this nice lighting rack that sits on the ceiling. This was I think around £120, but again I'll put the link up, the price up, and then the link in the description so you can find that and shop it. The lights are movable as well, so you can move them around. So they're good for when we're shooting the podcast or any specific areas that you want lit up more than others. That rail lighting is really cool. And in the far corner of the room, we're also going to add a corner light just to add some light over in that corner away from the lights. And in that corner, you'll see the beautiful calendar behind me. I actually don't know where this is from, unfortunately. I'll try and find the brand out for you. I don't think it's a cheap calendar. Lucy's mum bought it for me for Christmas. It's absolutely beautiful. And again, I think it just adds to the ambiance or the feel of the room. And of course, there's a couple of finishing touches, like you saw me spraying the radiator. We're looking at buying a new radiator. We saved money on that. I just bought 20 quid's worth of paint, so buying a radiator for 300 quid. A lot of the black sockets and plugs that we've added to the room only cost a couple of quid. I think it just adds to the look and the feel of the room. The carpet we didn't replace. We were looking at doing hard wooden flooring, but instead I just left the carpet in because I just like the homely feel. It's a home office. If I ever put wooden floor in it, it'll just take away from that. So I like to walk in my socks, feel the warmth of the floor. Lastly, you saw us building these chairs. The chairs are actually really cheap. I think they're 50 quid each for office chairs, and these are ergonomical, whatever it is. But it just help you have better posture. So if you're sitting them a long period of time, it helps you keep good posture, because the main reason you are getting back pain, or the reason why you get injured when you're squatting, isn't because you're bad at doing squats. It's because you sit like a wet folded banana all day in a chair and then go and squat. So get yourself some decent chairs. These are 50 quid each. We bought 3 of them for this room, and again I think they just add to the vibe of the room. Obviously I showed you through the cupboard that we got done, so that's just the kit cupboard. That was a really important part of the room, which helped us keep everything else neat and tidy away. So it was great that we had that. Used to be, I think, someone's wardrobe. We just built some shelving in there that the joiner did, and now we're able to store all the kit away in one place, grab and go whenever we need to. That's a really ideal, well organised, thank you very much, storage system. I'll leave the total cost of the office build here. Again, I've linked everything in the description, that if you want to take any inspo or grab any of the bits that I've done in this room, please feel free to do so. I am super happy with the room. It was a nice little project to crack on with. It's took me about like 2 to 3 months to finish, but I'm glad we got there in the end. There's a couple of little finishing off bits that we want to do, but it's a great working space for me and the team to crack on with. Don't forget to follow the podcast. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like. It's the first time visiting the channel. Don't forget the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Gonna finna jump for this shit.